take on unsportsmanlike this morning. Adam.
Well, they can retain whichever one they want. I mean, that's the choice they're going to make. And my guess is that they're going to start on Russell Wilson and see how that goes. And they'll have a number in mind and try to see if they get a deal done. And if they get a deal done that they believe they're comfortable with, that Russell's comfortable with, then they'll get the deal done with them. And if not, and it gets too difficult and too strenuous, then maybe they go on to Justin Fields at that point in time. That's my guess, reading into the fact that they can only sign one, would sign one. They've been interested in Russell all along. They continue to be interested in Russell. I would think that that's where they would put their effort initially.
Interesting. Okay, I have a multiple choice question for you, Stephen A. Who should be the Steelers quarterback next year? Option A, Russ, B, Fields, or C, another quarterback?
Me personally, I would like to go the route of another quarterback because I'm not sure I believe in either of them, Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I would lean towards Fields ahead of Wilson because I think Wilson showed us who he is and what he has. And not that he can't play, because George Pickens obviously was problematic in terms of his attitude and his availability at times, Shannon. I think Fields is younger. The cap hit obviously wouldn't be as onerous, and because of that, your flexibility. The Steelers have several free agents they've got to take care of, but they got to decide on anyway. You better take care of T.J. Watt. You do not want to lose T.J. Watt. That is priority number one so far as I'm concerned. Pickens is somebody they got to look at as well. Najee Harris, obviously, and Jalen Warren are two guys that they got to look to take care of. I would take care of both of those dudes as well as T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt would be my number one priority. But in the end, Shannon, I think it comes down to whatever level of faith you have from a developmental standpoint in terms of the Steelers coaching staff. If you're confident that you are a developer, then you go with Justin Fields. If your confidence doesn't lean towards that, then you lean towards Russell Wilson. I don't see any quarterback on the open market that you necessarily want more than the two that you have presently at the moment, but it's very confusing. I don't think there's a definitive answer, at least from me, Shannon, about the Steelers right now, because I'm so disheartened. You go on a 5-game losing streak to end the season. You don't score more than 17 points in any of those games. You can't get anything going offensively. I'm sick of seeing it. I've been seeing it for a long time. I'm almost helpless as to what to do with these guys.
Well, I like the point that you made at the end, is that who do you believe long-term is your best option to go with? At some point in time, the Steelers are going to have to settle on a quarterback. I know you had great prosperity with the 17, 18-year run that you had with Big Ben, but you can't keep going Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. You're going to have to settle on a quarterback. And like you said, Stephen, if you believe that you can develop Justin Fields into the type of quarterback that, look, you're going to play with your defense, you're going to run the football, and then let your quarterback play off of that, okay, I believe Justin Fields is the guy. Because the question is, what's the number? I don't think Russell's going to play for. Can you get Russell for a 3-year deal, $100 million, kind of like what Tampa did with Baker Mayfield? I think that's doable. Anybody that's on the free agent market, Stephen A., they're going to want, let's just say it's Sam Darnold. He's going to probably want 40, 45, maybe even 50 million based on the season. And you know the Steelers, they don't really spend money in free agency. They like to develop within, or they can get a guy on the cheap. So for me, I'm looking at it like, okay, what are you looking for, Steelers? Are you talking about next 1 to 2 years, or are you looking long-term, 3 years and beyond? Because if you're looking at 3 years and beyond, you go Justin Fields. If you're just looking at 1 to 2, but then you could, guess what? After 2 years, Stephen A., you're going to be right back where you are right now,
Shannon, help me out
looking
here.
for another quarterback.
Help me out here, Shannon. Answer this question for me. Right now, I'm just looking at my notes. Russell Wilson's projected market value for a new deal is 2 years at $77.5 million, which is $38.7 million per season. 2 years. That's his market value at the moment in time. Justin Fields.
How much did you say, Stephen A.? 37 point what?
$38.7 million per.
Okay.
$77.5 million for 2 years. That's his market cap.
Okay.
Justin Fields is 1 year, $8.9 million. Based on that intel, what do you do?
Well, if you restructure the guys, you do something with T.J. Watt. Pickens going to want a new deal. Stephen A., boy, you're up against it. You're really up against it because you give Russell Wilson 38.75.
I can't do it.
And then $9 million for a backup that's probably not going to get an opportunity to play. Stephen, they're going to have to let one of them go. I don't believe you can keep both of them.
I know you can't. I know you can't.
almost
I
$50
wasn't
million
asking you, could
in
you keep both?
quarterbacks.
I wasn't asking you, could you keep both of them? I was saying, which one do you choose based on what I'm asking you? Because for me, it's Justin Fields because he's cheaper. He won
Yes.
games when he was in the lineup, and I get to keep most of the rest of the dudes I mentioned.
Yep, I would.
Justin Fields.
Since you put it like that, and you said I need to do something with T.J. Watt, I need to do something with Pickens. I will keep Justin Fields because it's going to hamstring you with $38 million, and then T.J. Watt's going to be looking to get probably $100 million guaranteed. Pickens is going to be looking to get probably crack maybe somewhere between $28 and $32 million. Yeah, you're asking an awful lot, Stephen A. That's an awful lot to pay Russell 37.7.
Can't do it.
38.7.
Can't do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that need a quarterback. We'll see how it all plays out.
Berg's got quarterback questions again. Keep Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? Owner Art Rooney II says his preference is to keep either, but he likely won't keep both. Both are free agents, and Rooney's expressed a desire to keep the team's next quarterback on a deal longer than 1 year. Wilson's 36, Fields a decade younger. So, NFL insider Dan Graziano with us now to talk this over. Dan, what's the latest on the Steelers quarterback situation?
They're in a preliminary stage, Ryan. They're just getting the offseason started and assessing options, kind of like they were last year when they were open to any potential option from the outside. And they wound up getting a bargain basement deal on Russell Wilson and a bargain basement deal on Justin Fields. Both those guys are eligible to become unrestricted free agents, which means the Steelers can bring back both. They can bring back one. They can bring back neither. And they also have the freedom to look at other options. So really, the Steelers are at a point where they're assessing all of that. What's the landscape? Do we want to try and outbid other teams for Sam Darnold? Do we want to see about a Kirk Cousins trade? Do we want to call the Rams and see if they're willing to trade Matthew Stafford? And is that something we want to do? So, look, it is, unfortunately for the Steelers, they're in this position for the second year in a row of trying to figure out what their options are. But they have options. And the interesting thing is Russell Wilson might too. With Pete Carroll becoming the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, obviously those two have some history together, and that might present Russell with another option in free agency. So a lot of moving parts here, a lot of different ways this could still shake out.
Yeah, I remember when Carroll was terminated in Seattle, there were talks about whether Wilson had something to do with it. Wilson came out later and said, I love Pete. He's like a father figure to me. Remember,
He wasn't there.
Yeah, well, I'm saying Wilson said about Carroll, yeah, I love the guy in Seattle when they were together. They were 10 seasons together where they won a Super Bowl together in Seattle. All right, so let's talk about the Saints. They're the only team left without a head coach. Kellen Moore is emerging as a strong candidate there. What are you hearing on that front?
Bringing it out of his end zone, Isaiah. And all deep in his own territory. He coughs up the football.
That's what it is, baby. That's
and
what
he
it
will
is.
score. Touchdown, Washington. John Bates. Excellent work there to get in on the touchdown run. And Washington has tied the ball game with the extra point still to come. Now it's Hopkins to add the extra point. And with that, his guys take the lead here by a point. And they'll try again, 2nd and 10. They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith. And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people would think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you're doing a big way, and what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
3rd and long, it's Smith escaping the pressure right. Slings this deep. This is caught inside the 15. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Capital at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. They love their football in this part of the country, and this crowd is ready to go as their guys will match up with the Buffalo Bills. Two teams more than ready to get this one started. And we are underway from FedEx Field. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
A pretty decent game. Other quarterbacks, they have a hard time getting past it and often put the ball up for grabs the rest of the ball game.
And a productive gain out to the 14 after starting at the 7. It's a gain of 7. 7 yards the pickup there. 3 yards remain for 2nd down. Fitzpatrick now. Slings this deep from McLaurin. It got his man complete. And all the way down to the 24-yard line. Quite a show of arm strength right there. That was in the air for a long time, and it was on target, too.
And from where we sit, if you had told me that that ball was somehow going to get from point A to point B, I would have told you no way. I mean, that was an absolute cannon shot, and he still dropped it right on the money, too.
And that ball traveling 68 yards in the air, according to Next